Hello everyone, my name is Hania Moktadir. I am a senior interpreter at Conner Prairie. I hope that this video finds you all well. So today I'm going to show you what it's like for me as a woman to get dressed in 1860 historic clothing every day that I am out on the grounds. So I will talk through each piece that I'm putting on, why I'm wearing it, and the function that it serves, and anything like that. So if you're interested, just stay tuned and we'll get right to it. So first up, we have our shift. This is your bottom layer. This layer serves to protect your clothing from your skin, since women weren't really cleaning their clothing as often as we clean it now. So after the shift, as you can see, I'm putting on my stockings. These are basically just like the socks that you all are used to, except they're higher. So they'll go to about the bottom or mid part of your knee. Now, a little pro tip here for you all. Always remember to put your stockings and your shoes on before your corset or your stays. I can't describe to you the pain that you feel when you go through all the trouble of lacing up your corset and you don't realize until afterwards that you have forgot to put on your boots, because it hurts. It is a pain to have to try to bend over and to put your shoes on after you put your corset on. So always remember, shoes before corset. It's very, very important. And then, of course, after you get your shoes on, you will then move on to the infamous corset. So this is my corset here. As you can see, I have my strings in the back to tighten it up. Now, the difference between a corset and a stays is a corset is actually open in the front and it's got these clasps like I'm showing you here, to where I can actually just slip into my corset almost like a button-up shirt. Whereas when you wear stays, you have to pull it over your head because there's no opening for you. And stays also have wooden boning, while a corset has a bit of flexible metal boning inside. So as you can see, I was struggling a little bit to get my clasps, and I've been wearing corsets for about 2 years now. So that is just the nature of corsets or stays. Sometimes you just have to fight with them a little bit to get them secured. So once you get it secured in the front, you're going to situate your shift a bit, and then you are going to work from the back. You're going to take your 2 sets of strings here, like I'm doing, and you're going to work with those to tighten up that string in the back of your corset. Get yourself nice and tight and fastened in there. Now, I could have actually tightened myself a little bit tighter, but for the sake of the video and for timing, I did just a loose tightening. So of course you'll probably need a mirror to work with the back of your corset until you get a little bit better at it, or if you're lucky enough, you can have someone actually lace you in, which is nice. You get very tight. So as you can see, I just wrap my strings around the front and back to the back. I'm tying them in a little bow, and then I am set and I am ready to go to get the infamous hoop skirt. So this is my hoop skirt here. Now, this is pretty notorious, I believe, for this time period, because this is what gives our dresses that big, dramatic width that everyone seems to think about when they think about this time. So as you can see here, my hoop skirt is nice. It's just got this little bit of a belt buckle, so to speak. So all I have to do is just toss my hoop skirt over my head, and then I just fasten my belt around my waist here. So this is really just a piece of fashion for women. You wouldn't wear them as a younger girl, but after you got to a little bit older, maybe about 16 or so, that is when you would be able to then wear your hoop skirt and be in with the fashion. So here is the view from all around from the side. Now this here is my petticoat. Now I have a petticoat because it serves as the barrier between your dress and your hoop skirt. So you don't want to be able really to see an outline of the individual rings once you have your dress on. So this petticoat will actually serve as a layer between them. So hopefully you don't really see those individual little crinoline rings once you have your dress on. So as you can see, I've got strings here. I'm just going to tie them like I did with my hoop skirt. Now, as you can see, that opening can either be in the front or the back, but I prefer mine in the front so I can always see what I'm doing and tying it up. Then you're going to shake your hoop skirt to make sure that your petticoat is not stuck in any of the rings or the hoops, to keep it nice and neat looking. Now, this is my dress here. This is pretty typical of dresses that they would be wearing. in 1860s, and it's pretty close to the dresses that we have today, to be honest with you all. So I am lucky this dress has clasps in the front, so all I really have to do is just pull that dress over my head, and when I pull it down, then I will be able to actually fasten the hooks and the eyes in the front of the dress so I can really and truly see everything. So this dress, as you can see, it's not anything too terribly fancy. It's something that's quite typical of what you would see women wearing in very rural Indiana, and of course during the Civil War as well, while things were a little hard very hard for the folks who were living through this time period. So I am just fastening up those hooks and eyes all the way up, and as you will see in a moment, I also have unclasped around the sleeves, around my wrist there. So once I'm finished hooking up the front, I will then go ahead and I will fasten my sleeves to where they're nice and tight around my wrist. Now I also have some cuffs, little white cuffs that could go at the end of my sleeves. Now they are made to where they can come on and off so women could wash them in case they got dingy or anything like that. So here is basically the final look of how I would appear after I put on my full costume. I did go ahead and also grab the apron to put on, because aprons, of course, are very typical for women to wear while they were working, especially because, like I said, we weren't washing our clothing as often as we wash it today. So not only do we need the shift underneath to protect our dress from our sweat, but we're also going to need our apron to protect us from any messes that we might encounter while we're working. Okay, that concludes my video. I hope that you all found it interesting, fun, and informative. If you notice, I did make a few mentions about some hygienic things like washing their clothes and things like that. So if you have a further interest in those sorts of things, I'm also planning on doing a video about 1860s hygiene as well. So you'll have to stay tuned for that if that was something that sort of piqued your interest. I believe I'm also going to be doing some tutorials. So if you notice, I did put my hair up while I was fixing my costume and putting that on, but it was not period appropriate. So I will be doing some clips of just showing everyone how to get period appropriate hair and the little tricks that we've picked up to hide the modern things that we use to make those. So thank you again all for watching this. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that I see you again at the next video. Thank you.